Hello, and thank you for visiting. Over the next few minutes, we're going to take our time to introduce you to comF5 and what we're calling the tools of the digital revolution. And we trust that you'll find this information both useful and timely. So we're going to jump right in. First of all, why the tools of the revolution, the digital revolution to be specific? Well, in the world of business, and actually even outside of business, there have been some things that have shifted some of the fundamentals of communication. And there's a large part of business success relies upon effective communication. So this has had an extraordinary impact on businesses. So what we're going to look at is this idea of convergence. And this is just one way that the digital technology wave that has swept the world over the last decade has changed, well, it's changed everything. So if we just look at one part of this change called convergence, which is the coming together of the most influential industries of modern time, television, internet, telephone, and computing. When we look at these industries, what we want to remind people of is that these are the industries that more than perhaps any other industries help shape the way that millions, if not hundreds of millions, and even in some cases billions of people communicate on a day-to-day basis, how they form their opinions, how they shape their behavior. So this convergence idea has an enormous impact on the foundation of the way we communicate. And this, the resulting, the results of this shift has been that we are now more digital, mobile, and social than we ever have been in the past. But the question we'd like to ask small business owners is, are they? So this is the challenge that that shift has created. When we look at the historical, traditional means of advertising, whether it be the direct mail, all the way up through radio and television, they've all been dramatically impacted by this communication shift. So if we walk through them quickly, direct mail, there's been a behavioral change. People no longer even check their mailboxes on a daily basis. Definitely a lot of timely basis. They're getting most of their important communications through a digital source like email. Print advertising has been completely turned upside down. What was one time the bedrock of advertising, the yellow pages. Now most people, it's an extreme afterthought. People don't even know where their yellow book is. Newspapers are struggling to stay in the business themselves. In fact, there was an article posted not too very long ago that 50 of the top 100 newspapers in the history of the country were on the verge of bankruptcy. And even when you look at things that are technical, like radio and television, because of our communication habits have changed, and technology has broadened their delivery capability. It's made it very complicated to have effective strategies involving even TV and radio without an enormous budget. And to put it in different terms, radio, digital radio, there were over 10,000 new radio stations launched in the last 18 months. And there are now literally thousands upon thousands of channel options on digital TV or cable TV. So even if you had the desire to advertise on radio and television, and you had the budget to do so, it would be a logistical challenge. It would still be very challenging to determine on which channels and at which time you advertise, especially since people are now have clearly adopted the mindset of on demand, which means they want what they want at the moment that they want it. The TiVo way of thinking has definitely swept through consumers' behaviors as well. So we find ourselves in this mobile, social, internet-driven market, and there are lots of very successful companies and products and strategies that have entered the market to help people handle this challenge. But at the point of why we're so excited and why we believe what we're doing to be so timely, most businesses, the way that most businesses now communicate, do not actually match the way that most of their potential customers are communicating today. Now, when we look at the shift, you have to ask yourself as a business, Well, what does it actually take to be noticed or then understood, trusted, and possibly even remembered? And when we look back across what companies have been doing in the past, when we look at the traditional means of advertising, it just does not address these very fundamental things of how do you break through the noise to be noticed, and if you can possibly find a way to do that, how can you quickly be understood, especially in a world where people's attention span is just a matter of seconds. With the onslaught of nonstop 24/7 information, how do you possibly find a way to be trusted by people that actually find you? And then beyond that, because there's a timing issue of being available when people are actually looking for your services, is how can you actually be remembered so that when the timing is right for them, they think of you. Well, most people know that this is a big challenge. Most people know that digital technology or internet-based solutions are the things that give them the best chance at doing all of these. But the challenge that they have to adopt those usually falls into two categories. One, time. They don't perceive themselves to have the time to acquire the both new skill or the constantly changing skill. Because in the world of technology, one thing that's fundamentally different in the digital age than it was in the non-digital age is that the rate of change is accelerating. So things that people, the skills that people acquire and master today may or may not be relevant at the end of this year. And in fact, it's almost guaranteed that by the end of this year, there will be different skills that they need to now master. So how do they find the time to do that? And second of all, if they were made the commitment in time, then how about the money? How do they find the money? How do they acquire, how do they have this, they in a very challenging economy, how do they finance the change required? Well, the other side of that same coin is, people tend to focus on what does it cost them to acquire the time and money to make the changes that they know are required. Well, we're going to ask you to look at the other side of that question and ask you, well, what is it costing you if you do not acquire new skills, if you do not constantly adjust your skills to meet the changing market, if you do not find the way to finance this change in a sustainable way? Is it costing you fewer sales? What about lost customers? If you're not communicating on customers on a way that they look to be communicated to, you can easily see how you're gonna have a weaker relationship or no relationship at all. The result of that will be less market share, and worst of all, and this is the big one, you will not even be in the conversation. You will literally not even be in the game. And that's going to cost you a lot more than a time budget or a money budget. That might cost you your survival in the business you're in. So what percentage of your business success will be related to marketing or marketing technology as we move into the future? Now, you believe it's 30%, 60%, maybe even more? Here's the sum total of many people's suggestion rolled in a nice, easy to understand quote. If you can build a powerful brand, you will have a powerful marketing program. If you can't, then all the advertising, fancy packaging, sales promotion, and public relations in the world will not help you achieve your objective. And when we look at how complex this new world is, when we look at all the possible options and all the changes that are happening, the fundamental question becomes, where do you start? Before we get to the answer to that, I'd like you to also consider something else. I'd like you to consider that most of your buyers, most of your customers are falling into some very consistent patterns that are consistent across large bodies of people. Demographical changes. In fact, many of them are global. Some of them you've heard a lot of press about. The baby boomers, for example. Most people know the baby boomer story. Essentially, at the conclusion of World War II. Um, there was an incredible number of people that returned from war, and they had an incredible amount of babies, basically. It was the largest human population explosion, document explosion up until that time, and 80 million people, basically. These were people born between 1946 and 1964. 80 million people were born in this short period of time. And as those people moved through the economy, literally industries were born and iconic companies were born. When all of those babies needed to be fed, you had the emergence of companies like Gerber. And, when those babies became children, you saw the related companies like Hasbro and the cartoon companies and the toys companies boom. As they started to enter school, you saw the school construction boom. As you further down the line, as they became of age and wanted to drive, you saw companies like sports cars like the Mustang becoming an icon. And as they got older, got married, wanted that house, that first household, you saw the first huge real estate boom. Um, all down the line. You just follow that group of people through the economy, and you literally see industry after industry, company after company being created and sustained by just serving that one group of people. Even today, you fast forward the clock to 2011, 2012, many of the commercials you now see on TV, many of the companies you now see are still focused on serving that market. That's why you see a lot of things around longevity, health, Viagra, all these different things that service an aging community. Um, you also, most people are focused on that group still today. Fewer companies are focused on another group, which is surprisingly even larger than the baby boomers group, and these are called millennials. These are people that are between the ages of 19 and 29-year-old, and they just happen to be focused on a little bit different thing. So, if you can imagine yourself, you can answer the questions for yourself. What are people between the ages of 19 and 29-year-old? What are they really focused on? And it's they're pretty much born in a digital age. They're very technical savvy. They're all about social interaction. They're all about dating, and online gaming. And if you think about it, these industries are booming right now as well. So the gaming industry was more profitable than than Hollywood, right? The biggest games are as profitable as a blockbuster movie or more, right? That industry right now is absolutely on fire, but it's on fire because of the behavior of this demographic. And finally, there's another demographic for those of you that are in the business market segment. Um, there happen to be 20 million small businesses right now just in this country alone. And when you look at what they're focused on, they're trying to transition into the digital age. So you see, back in the early 2000s, there was a mad rush to get online. Everybody needed to have a website. That same type of mad rush is happening right now as people go mobile, or as people now start to enhance their online presence. So the big question is, are you leveraging these? Are you using these big demographical trends to your advantage, or are you swimming against the tide? Are you trying to do things that are not consistent with these big demographical trends? Because these are the result of all of these people moving in very consistent ways is an enormous tide to either swim with or against. So that leads us up to comF5, and the basic question we ask small businesses are you using the right tools to build your business? Are you essentially using old-fashioned methods and tools, or are you using modern methods and tools? And it's very simple. That's the question of the day. Now, what we are bringing to market, obviously, are the modern tools that are specifically designed to help businesses position themselves better in this very mobile, very social, very digital world. And we do it by introducing two platforms, two very powerful platforms. Office Pro being a digital communication and marketing center. It's an office that people can do 80% of all the things they will ever need to do to really leverage some of the things we just highlighted for you. And then mobile. We make customized mobile phone applications for small businesses as well. And if you understood anything throughout the information we just shared, you understand why this is right in the middle of the bullseye of what customers need to be focused, what businesses need to be focused on now. So as we move into looking at these two platforms, first one, let's look at Office Pro. When we look at Office Pro, it's a single service, it's a single solution, single login, one application, one product, but it allows you to do quite a few different things. We have a very advanced email marketing. In fact, our email marketing does a lot of automation. It incorporates video, reporting. This is by far one of the most proven methods of building a relationship, of maintaining a relationship, and converting people into customers out on the internet. In fact, an email address is rapidly becoming, or rapidly being identified, because it's always been that way, but it's rapidly being identified as a prime piece of real estate in the digital market, in the digital world. A great example was that at one point in time, when you canceled your cell phone company, you gave up your phone number, and then people became aware that that phone number was somehow a part of their digital identity, and the market had to adjust to allow people to keep that piece of their identity as they move from service to service. So the same type of awareness is starting to happen around email, and as people start to realize that their interaction with people that are very important to them outside of friends and family, but now they're starting to interact with their financial consultants, their legal consultants, the medical profession, their doctors, their lawyers, all that stuff. They're starting to realize that how valuable their email is to them in terms of a unique presence out there on the marketplace, and our ability to communicate to people through that medium is very, very important. We also have an extensive a way for people to automate their responses, automate their communications to different parts of the market. We have an advanced contact management system in place that allows people to do the most useful and the most powerful thing in the moment that they're interacting with individuals, and we can do this through a very advanced contact management capability that's built into Office Pro. Video is by far the most effective and practical way to communicate on the internet. It turns out it's just fundamental to the way we communicate with each other. But we have a very extensive video marketing capability built right into Office Pro. We also allow you to host your marketing websites or your communication websites right in the product itself. So if you're used to going out to different hosting facilities and things like that, we make it easy for you to host those sites in the same platform that you use to communicate with people. We have a very extensive integrated communication capability so that you could use Office Pro to not only communicate with people doing email, but you communicate them doing their social media, through your social media sites, through text communications. You sit at the center of your communication command center when you're logged into Office Pro. And we also have a very extensive lead management capability system and approach that we allow small businesses to quickly adopt and use in a way that's very consistent with somebody that has expertise in other areas, right? If you're a restaurant, your expertise is really in the area of food preparation and service. Around food preparation is not, and you don't necessarily have the expertise in how to leverage all these different tools. So all of that's been taken into consideration when using Office Pro. The second platform is in Touch Pro, our customized phone apps, and we give people all three different flavors. We give people their iPhone application, the Android applications, and HTML5 are the ones that will allow their apps to play on tablets, whether they be BlackBerry or these different Android tablets that are hitting the market in the tunes of millions and millions per month. And just some of the high-level capability of having a phone app is probably rapidly becoming the most preferred and practical way that a business can communicate to an individual potential prospect or customer, because it's a direct line of communication. So we allow people to do direct messaging. We allow people to opt into email and newsletters, and this can be the path for people to get your daily specials. Lots of excitement or interest around the Groupon model There are some pros and cons to using their model, but phone applications allow businesses to kind of own their own version of that process without sharing or giving up the profits, as many people are needing to do to get that done through different services. We allow you to easily integrate through your social communities in a way that's very easy for people to access and interact with on their mobile devices. And this is important because mobile devices have already become the most common way that people access the internet. So if people understand the value of having a website, if people understand the value of e-commerce, if people understand the value of taking their business online, then it is mandatory that they include in their strategy a mobile strategy, because mobile is the new internet. Our mobile phone applications are multimedia ready. Obviously, we're a video-based company, video-centric. So, of course, our apps allow you to quickly leverage video and audio and rich multimedia in your communications efforts. We also allow you to continue to leverage the investments you've already made in your web-based content, whether it be your website or other related websites. We have a host of location-based features, whether or not it's geo-couponing, where when people come to your local business, they check in on their phone app, or the phone app checks them in, and on the 10th visit, they get a special offer from you. Or you're a business and you're trying to encourage people to come see you on the weekend. So what you might want to do in your phone application is point out some of the other points of interest that are within walking distance or close by your business to help you drive their need to come to see you. We also give people easy administrative access and control over their phone application, so that in a market that's completely dynamic and continually changing, we allow you to go in and consistently stay up with that. And this is also an opportunity for you to build your own uniqueness into your offering, right? Because there are going to be some things that you come up with that are different than your competitors. And this is going to be your ability to leverage those insights into your private community through your phone application. So it's a very powerful way for you to interact with your market, even at the strategic level. Now, those are the two platforms we bring to market. What we want to do is quickly now give you some reasons to consider joining us. If you've been giving this particular introduction to what we do, that means that you're probably looking for a way to generate an additional stream of income, or perhaps you're looking at starting a business of your own or a venture of your own, or you're trying to make a career change and somebody suggested that you take a look at us. So what I'd like to do now is walk you through just a few of the reasons we think we're worth some investigation from people that find themselves in a position where they're looking to need to make a change. The first is built into everything we do, built into the way we introduce our products, built into the way we compensate people as resellers in our reseller program. We build in this idea of systematic leverage. And what we systematically teach people how to do is this. We call it the X factor. And what we show people how to do is to systematically separate their personal effort from their personal reward. So when you look at this simple chart above, you see that orange arrow going down and to the right. We call that the effort line. And we know that we get a lot of very powerful and very successful people are the people that are reaching out to us to learn more about our reseller program. So we know that many of you are at the top of your game, and we know that many of you have an extremely high level of motivation and effort and output and energy. But the reality of it is that everybody's effort goes down and to the right over time. The timeline goes from left to right, left the starting now, and right being the future. So as you move forward into the future, everybody's effort line goes down because, well, they get older, right? So, or their skills get obsoleted, or there's a host of other things that over time, everybody's effort goes down. So knowing this, what we do systematically is separate your effort from your reward, so that they do not have a linear relationship. If you're in some type of compensation program where you paid hourly or salary, um, then you have a linear relationship with your reward, which means if you work 1 hour, you get X. If you work 2 hours, you get 2X, right? Or even worse than that, if you get the exact same paycheck every single month, regardless of what you put in or what you produce. So these things are indicators that your money, your effort, and your income are all on the same line. And in most people's situation, it's the effort line, which means that as their effort goes down over time, or their ability to put in effective effort goes down over time, well, so does their reward. It goes down proportionately. Well, what we show you to do is separate those two so that you can get this chart. And we've effectively helped people have a reward pulled from a system, not themselves. We teach people how to be system dependent so that as their effort goes down over time, their reward can continue to grow over time. And in fact, the goal will be, once you get in this model, the goal will actually be to allow you to bring your effort all the way down to zero and not have that affect your reward line. So we have some people whose effort can now go to zero and their reward line can stay high. In fact, it can continue to grow and grow and grow in the future as we move forward into the future. So before we move on to the second reason, this is also a great explanation as to why so many people fail when they move into internet-based businesses or direct selling businesses, because when you look at the beginning of the timeline, when you look at their reward line, it's zero, right? It's at the lowest point it's ever going to be. But when you look at the relative effort line, starting from now going into the future, it's the highest it's ever going to be. And most people cannot reconcile the fact that their effort is very, very high in the beginning and the reward is very, very low. Um, Everything they've been taught in the past tells them that that's a bad situation. They're not getting paid what they're worth. They're not getting paid what their effort deserves. The problem is that's coming from the point of view of people that live in a linear world. So we teach people how to separate those two. And yes, in the beginning, your effort will be higher than your reward, but that's mandatory if you ever want to end up at a place where your effort, your reward can be higher than your effort. To flip those, you have to separate those. And at the point of separation, your effort will be higher than your earnings. So just wanted to point that out. That's a big piece that if people can understand that going in, their probability of success goes way, way, way up. So the next thing we want to know is the reason why you should consider joining us is all built around market timing. Most people will have an understanding that sometimes you just need to be at the right place at the right time. Well, we are more than in the right place at the right time with our particular markets and the service. And what we had asked you to ask, this is an opportunity for you to get involved in the market before the mega brands are established. Before the mega brands are established. So when you look at some of the things we said we do, email marketing, automation of communication, integrating video marketing with email, all the different things we pointed out. I challenge you to name a dozen companies that provide a similar service. Most people that are watching this presentation can name one or two companies at best. But in any other market, business that is in a market as big as the ones we're in, we're serving markets that are going to serve hundreds of millions of people that literally can sustain hundreds, if not thousands, of competitors. But most people can't name 5 competitors in the markets we're in. And what that doesn't mean that we don't have competitors. What that means is the brand war is just beginning, that people have not effectively branded themselves as the industry leader. When you think of cell phone companies or wireless companies, most people can rattle off 4 or 5 different companies: Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, Boost Mobile. These are ones I'm thinking of. Virgin Mobile, and there are probably a dozen more companies, but most people can at least name off the top 5 or 6 companies, and all of those companies are worth billions of dollars, and hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue going through them. The markets we're in, you can answer the question, can you name 5 competitors? Um, another reason why you want to consider us is that we market business tools to business professionals. And this is important because right now there's a enormous amount of people that are looking for direct selling opportunities or ventures that they can do from home or things that they can do at night and on weekend, moonlighting opportunities, things that they can do and build their own secondary source of income around. But the vast majority of those folks, those people, will enter markets where they serve consumer customers, where that's why you're going to see most people entering industries where they sell, personal care products, makeup, those type of things, or nutritional products, vitamins, those type of things, health-related products, or even digital tools like phone service or VoIP, those type of things. They still market consumer markets, which is fine, but in our industry, it's back to that opportunity of not having a lot of competitors. Name the opportunities that have been that you've heard about that you can adopt as your own personal vision of venture or business, where you're selling to professional people, businesses, not consumers. The other good thing about this particular part of the market, selling to businesses, is that businesses know that they need to spend money on advertising and marketing. So when you go to them with a real solution, they are already doing something. They're already doing something, and you're going to show them something better that they can do, and usually for less money. This is a big one. We allow you to increase your personal business skill set. We talked about those major demographical trends, and we talked about the fact that all companies need to adopt a communication method or strategy, tactics, and tools that help them be effective in the digital age. Well, just by marketing our products and services and understanding how they fit in the digital age will increase your personal digital business skill set. And this is going to allow you to build your personal brand. This is going to allow you to build your personal value personally, not in relation to us. We encourage and promote and support you building your own standalone brand as an expert, as somebody that understands the components of digital communication, how they fit and work together. And at your own pace, to the degree to which you determine, we give you the tools and the education and the support to build your own brand in this area, so that as the markets continue to move forward into the future, you become more and more valuable individually in the marketplace. That's a tremendous thing that we allow you to do that you just can't do with many of the other opportunities out there that do not focus on the digital tools aspect as the primary service that they bring to the marketplace. The second is just in terms of momentum. We allow you to get in on the wave of that shift of 20 million businesses, and that's just in this country. It's more than double that if you take the global shift into account. But just like there was a mad rush for businesses to get online and to have websites, well, right now the shift to take those websites mobile, the shift for those companies themselves to go mobile, that's happening right now, and you can get involved in that. Obviously, there are some very compelling reasons why you should consider being a reseller with us, built around money. We have a very aggressive compensation plan on the mobile application side of the business. For our mobile applications are sold at $595 and $50 a month. Right off the bat, that's an extreme price advantage. Many of our competition are still selling phone apps at $2,000, $3,000 per platform. We sell it at $595, and you get all 3 platforms, which gives you an extreme advantage when you're going out to this hungry marketplace of people looking to make the mobile shift. And we pay you $200 commissions on that $500, for every $500, 95 $595 sale, plus we pay you between 15 and 21% of that monthly service fee. So not only does each and every sale pay you upfront money, cash you can use right now, we allow you to build a book of business that will pay you each and every month. It's called residual income. You do it once and you get paid on it over and over and over again. On the Offers Pro side of things, on the Offers Pro sales, we actually pay you similarly. You know, many of our businesses come in at the $100 level of our service offering, just because it, from a business that's about the price of business cards, right, or coffee or ink cartridges. So it's not as you don't get much price resistance. So it's literally just a race to how many businesses can you get to and explain what we do. But we pay you 100% commission on their first month revenue at the $100 level. So you sign up somebody for the $100 Office Pro offering, you make $100 up front, and still you make the ongoing 15 to 21% of that monthly service fee. Now, and that's just the start. That's just the tip of the iceberg of where we start, because there's more money in it for you. We also allow for those people that are seeking leverage, that understand the power of leverage in terms of wealth creation and in terms of building an engine that's going to change their finances, not just for today, but over time, completely change their tax bracket, if you will. If that is that much leverage involved, what we allow you to do is actually build a sales and marketing team. That's the most powerful way for you to leverage yourself. If you go read 10 books on how to create wealth for yourself, those 10 books will reference 100 other people, experts, that say that you have to find a way to leverage the time, money, and efforts of other people. It's core to wealth building principles. We allow you to do that right there in our model by building a sales and marketing team, distributed around the world. We maintain them for you. We actually train, coach, and support them. We give them the tools, but we let you go find them. So if you can help go build your team. But if you find somebody that wants to do what you do, we take over the responsibility of training and coaching them and getting them the tools. But we do a couple of things. One is we pay you for finding them. So as they come in, it costs $100 to be a reseller, right? $100 a month. That first month, we pay you $100 a bonus for finding them. And then after that, we still let you override their production. We let you override their team's production, right? Because they may want to, in turn, go out and build a team themselves, but you will override their revenue between 2 and 10%. Just depends on where you are in our promotion path. Here's the good thing about our promotion path. Our promotion path is solely based on group volume or group sales revenue. So it's not like those many massively confusing things out there that you see flooded the internet, where they try to make it seem simple by saying, hey, you need one on this side and one on your left side and the right side, or if you just go get 2 or just go get 3, then we have this magical super compensation plan. It's unique in the world. It's the double flick super turbocharged compensation plan where all these magical things happen. We take the opposite approach. We take the plain and simple approach that the more group volume you build, the more actual business that is being done by you or the people that result from your team, then you earn a percentage of their revenue. Very easy to understand, very easy to predict what it takes for you to get to certain income levels. And in many cases, our compensation plan, you can build a very substantial, respectful income, even if your goals are to build a 6-figure income. In our compensation plan, you can do it on your own efforts. But if you incorporate the efforts of others, you can either do it quicker, or you can do it in a way that your personal efforts are no longer required. The good news is this. Our models are proven. We've already paid out over $30 million, and that was before our mega launch that's taken place right now at the beginning of 2012. So if you're getting this in the calendar year of 2012, we've already paid out over $30 million in kind of our spin up to the mega launch that you're now being invited to take a part of. And now it just gets better and faster. Outside of money, important thing is systems, tools, and support. You know, it takes a lot more than a great product, and even a lot more than just a great compensation plan. And in spite of what people are out there on the internet trying to have you believe that you know products don't matter, that services don't matter, it's just all about the compensation plan, all about the compensation plan. Um, uh, well, that's just not true. You know, products do matter. Apple is one of the most valuable, if not the most valuable company in the world right now, because their products are good, not because how they pay their employees or how they play their partners or anything compensation driven. It's solely because their products are so good and in so much demand that everything else now makes sense. Well, the same holds true in most businesses, and definitely in the businesses we serve. So if you understand, if you believe that our products and services have value, if you believe that they're in demand, then the next thing you should be concerned about or think about is, do we have the ability to give you the right systems, tools, and support for you to go out there and be successful? And the answer to that is a resounding yes. One is unique to us as opposed to other businesses out there. Our service that we offer, our process that we sell to small businesses is the exact same process that you will use. The tools that we sell to small businesses are the exact same tools that you will use. So just by doing the step-by-step process of understanding what we do and how we help small businesses, you are acquiring the skill to use the exact same education, skill set, and tools to apply it in your own interest. We understand and support you in building your personal brand. We have products and services in the educational path specifically designed to help those people that want to embrace it, and do it from a way that's designed to minimize your educational learning curve. That's built into the process of what we do. We provide you the e-commerce enabled website. We do the customer support for you. We do the billing of your customers for you. We do real-time reporting on your products. And if you want to build a team, we do real-time commission reporting and growth of how that's, we give you all the visibility of how all of that's going so you can understand where you need to apply some focus time or interest. All of that's provided from the company as a part of your reseller fees. And we have weekly, at a minimum, we have weekly training calls and live video broadcasts to support to minimize your learning curve and to maximize your ability to be successful out there. We touched on a little bit earlier, what does it cost to be a reseller in our program? Well, right now it's only $100 a month. There's no contracts. There's no contracts involved. There's no kit you need to buy. No inventory you need to maintain or accumulate in advance. There's not a lot of hype around everybody in the world needing what we have. We try to build a very strong case that most businesses that are successful or plan on being successful will be forced to do some of the things that we now provide. The timing is incredible, but you're not going to hear the big hype and promotion that most other companies have to do to get you to be interested. We're not going to make incredible claims about well, if you at all look plugged into the things on it, just look in your inbox. Look into your inbox today, or go to your social media page, and somebody will be reaching out to you about some miraculous new product or service that's going to change everything, and you know why you need to be a part of that. That's just not what we do, folks. It doesn't serve us well. We attract too high of a quality of business person. We sell in a very professional environment. That super hyped type of approach doesn't work well for us, and we do not support that. We're also not the type of company that's going to try to encourage you to take our products and services and go sell it to your friends and family and that type of thing, or even go to recruit your friends and family. Unless your friends and family are interested in being a professional that markets to small businesses, then we're not the opportunity for them. That's where we are, and we believe that these are some of the things that make us completely different than other businesses out there. So what should you do next? What we suggest you do next is just get your questions answered. If you like the market we serve, if you like what it seems like our products and services can do, we have lots of examples out there, lots of ways you can get better educated on what we do. Once you get your questions answered, we do suggest that you get your reseller account activated as quickly as you can. Get in our payment system as quickly as you can. There's a very hungry market out there of small businesses. The shift in communication has begun. This is your chance to actually take advantage of being in early. Have your team in place and train as more and more of the market starts to adopt this communication shift. You stand a bigger chance of that money being flowing through you or somebody on your team. And then we encourage you to come in and be a student first, to at least learn our proven step-by-step system, and go through that and understand our foundation. But the biggest thing we encourage you to do is to get going, to do something. If you want to make a change in your life, you've got to do something different. You can't do what you've always done and expect to end up with something different, right? You are gonna have to become different. You're gonna have to get a different skill set. You're gonna have to take different activities. You're going to essentially have to change. But the first step in any of that is simply to get going. In concluding this, I'd like to tell you just one more thing. Personally, I'm the CEO here at this company, and what I wanted you to do is my story is the biggest thing I can point to as proof to why our company, in our company, it is truly possible for you to create the opportunity that you want to have. I started off as you are right now, looking at this for the very first time, almost 7.5, 8 years ago. And I started off doing this very, very, very part-time, going through the process that we take you through, not even refined as it is now. And I was able to build that secondary source of an income. I wanted leverage, so I eventually was trained on how to build a team. I did that, and I then trained other people on my team how to do that. And what I eventually built was an international network of distribution for the products and services that we now offer. The economics created by that team allowed me to walk away from corporate America. I did that over 4.5 years ago. As of the time of this broadcasting, which brings us current now, in January of 2012, about 8 months ago, I was asked to come up and to be a part of the corporate leadership, and that eventually led to me becoming the CEO and president of this company. So I can tell you that anything is possible. You're hearing about this from a person that went from part-time to president. That's the whole path, folks. That's everything. That's the equivalent of going from the mailroom to CEO, right? And it's an extraordinary opportunity. And I was brought in specifically to make sure that we stay true to keeping ourselves focused on helping people that need to do this as a part-time venture and have very little time, and extra money to get involved. We understand all of that, and our job is to provide the system, tools, and support required for you to come into this company and to make this company the vehicle that can take you wherever it is you want to go. And we are dedicated and committed to that. So again, thank you for taking the time to go through this overview of what we are and who we are. Hopefully, it gave you some things to think about. Many of you probably made the decision early into this presentation that this is definitely worth the price of business cards to get involved and see what you can do. And for others of you, you're going to realize that it's worth it getting involved, even if all you want to get out of this is that enhanced skill set for you to understand this digital business world and how it all works. And for others of you, you simply want to build your own personal brand, and it's going to be refreshing to you that understand that we get it. We want you to do that, and we will support you in every way possible, and that's core to what we do. And for some of you, this may not be for you, and that's totally okay. Building an independent enterprise, an independent business, or an independent brand is not for everybody. But quite honestly, if I can speak bluntly, happiness isn't reserved for everybody either. Success is definitely not reserved for everybody either. In many cases, most of the things that we individually perceive to have the most value, are things that require us to do things that the masses are not willing to do. To summarize and to conclude, you must be willing to do today what other people's are not, so that you can live tomorrow in ways that other people's can't. We're dedicated to that. That's core to our philosophy. We believe that, but we want to help for those of you that want to make a change, make that change. But the most important thing right now is that you make a decision and get going.